so chill.
I'm kind of jealous, you guys.
Yeah,
this is sweet.
Zora's got it made.
That's so
cool. This is WXJM Harrisonburg, 887 on your FM dial. I'm Ken Wakes, and normally I play music, but today I'm interviewing
Her Majesty.
Her Majesty.
What is a Her Majesty?
Her Majesty is a three-piece band from Roanoke, Virginia, with Felix Byler, me, on the guitar and the vocals.
Sam Slate on drums and bass and some vocals as well.
And Zora Delaney on also drums and bass.
Yeah, they switch off. It's kind of cool.
Like, how did Her Majesty get started?
Well, it all started at this place called the Music Lab at the Jefferson Center in Roanoke. I started going there when I dropped out of school at 13, and I had decided at that point in my life that I wanted to really pour all of my energy into music. So when I got there, I was in a couple of different bands, and nothing really stuck until I met this guy, Sam Slate. He was teaching himself how to play bass in a practice room, and we had a different drummer at the time who ended up quitting on us, but we found Zora, and it was like something clicked, and we've been a three-piece band ever since.
You're like a little family.
Yeah, we are like a little family.
Exactly like a family.
What are some of your favorite activities to do outside of like music and all the nice touring you guys do?
Sam, you want to go first?
Sure, yeah. I'm super into music production. I do a lot of the more recent mixing and mastering for us. I do a lot of side projects, and I do a lot of home recording, just learning by myself. Other than that, I work.
I'm a full-time student at JMU. I do performance art with my group Doomsday X3. I do also some solo music, and I've been really into printmaking recently.
Nice.
I really like to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Real.
I also really like to hang out with my friends, and I mostly play guitar, and I mostly watch YouTube on my computer and play games and stuff.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. I should come clean. That's true.
Yeah, that's mostly what we do.
You tried to hide it from me. You tried to obscure your interests.
I'm not a gamer.
Hey.
I'm not a
gamer.
gamer.
Capital G.
I only have ever played Minecraft and Undertale.
Fair.
And Dragon Age. I played Dragon Age Origins.
Oh, did you play Inquisition?
I haven't played Inquisition. I've only played Origins.
I see. I haven't either. I was just wondering because it's on the series.
Yeah.
So
I'm stuck at Redcliffe Castle right now.
Real. So what's your out of all your albums and EPs and many songs and projects you all have, what's your favorite one? What are some standout tracks that you'd say?
I mean, our most recent EP.
Roses for All My Friends.
Roses for All My Friends. Our most recent EP is I feel like some of our very best work. But that's my favorites. But you guys answer as well.
Yes. Well, I think the reason that one is my favorite right now is because it was written here at JMU in the Chesapeake parking deck when Felix came up. Yep.
Was it in one night or a day?
It was in one day.
It was in one day. Yeah.
And then we went home because I live down in Floyd and Zora's up here, so I drove back to Floyd and then I just played it over and over until I had a guitar part, and then we all got together and we kind of coalesced it, and then we got in the studio and coalesced it even more.
Nice. When was this?
Oh God, I don't even remember. It might have been.
It was
November. It was November of 2023. Yeah, November 2023.
Yeah.
It's already been that long.
We recorded it, I think, in the winter time, and
in
then
December
into January, yeah, and then release it into 2024.
Oh, did you guguys have a little campsite set up at Chesapeake, or did you just chill in the car?
So Zora and I, we wrote it in one day. We wrote it on acoustic at the Chesapeake parking deck, and then we actually recorded it at a studio called the Sandwich Shop in North Carolina.
Did they sell sandwiches?
No.
I wish.
Get
on it, Scotty, if you can hear us.
Yeah, but with a guy named Scotty Sandwich, awesome producer. Loved working with him.
Is his legal name Sandwich?
I don't believe so.
We like to think so.
But I like to imagine that it is.
That's the headcanon.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you doing in North Carolina? Were you guys just there for the...
We play a lot of shows down there.
Oh, nice.
We actually met him through some friends of ours. Sam, you want to tell them about it?
Yeah, sure. So
tell the listeners.
Yeah, we met Scotty through our buddies in an old band called Orphan Riots, which at the time when we met them, they were dubbed the world's youngest punk rock band, I believe.
How old were they?
They were only a few years younger than us at the time, but
one of their members was 31.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. But before that, they had some international dubbing. They were the youngest, and it was great. But he had produced for them, and Scotty had produced for them, and also had produced for some other friends of ours in a band called Pageant, also from North Carolina. And we realized, we should probably get on this train. And he gave us a pretty sweet deal, and he didn't live too far away, and had a great little multi-room setup in his basement, and we tracked everything and just got it taken care of. It was wonderful. It was a great studio.
Nice. Do you normally record your albums in studios, or do you like have your own like little home setup? Because I know like home studios are getting more popular nowadays.
Exactly right. So one of the things that I've been so into production myself is for that reason. The very first record that we recorded called Operator Error, we recorded at the Jefferson Center where we met and where we rehearsed and practiced a couple times a week. That was done in a studio on pretty much $0 budgets. The next one we ended up doing was recorded entirely in my basement.
It was our COVID album.
Yeah, say that again.
Yeah, it was our COVID album, and we recorded it. We masked, and it was like very hot and miserable.
I did all of the scratch vocal tracks wearing a mask. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was.
We isolated my amp by putting it under a desk.
Facing the couch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
That's pretty cool.
What's the goofiest setup thing you've had to do while recording?
Oh my god! The condenser mic directly in the stand.
It was like a PA stand.
It was like a PA stand.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a rig for the condenser mic, so we just stuck the condenser mic directly against the metal, and it was like the perfect size. It like fit right down in the top of this like stand, and we just duct taped it.
And we threaded an XLR cable
and we
up the
threaded
middle.
an XLR through the tube. It was
and
crazy.
it worked. It somehow worked.
Oh,
well.
and then there's also kitchen mic.
Yeah,
Can't forget kitchen mic. And the whole State of the Union recording setup was crazy.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest DIY projects in the world.
I gotta tell you about the State of the Union.
Yeah, Zora, take that one over.
So the entire album was recorded at what was then an empty house near where I live. It's now my grandma lives there, but at the time it was undergoing renovations, and it was a smoker house.
Oh.
Someone who
smelled
lived there,
so bad in
for
there.
like 30 years and just smoked. But it was completely empty, and like my grandma was going to let us use it to record. So we didn't lock ourselves in, but we stayed in that house for like 2-3 days and just kept tracking.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was intense.
We also we filmed a music video in there too, but that was later on. We also wrote all over the wall.
Like sigils and stuff?
We'll show you pictures. But to describe to the people, it was for the background of the State of the Union album cover. Yeah. So we wrote all of the lyrics from the album and drew a bunch of little art on the wall behind us. So it was like the perfect background for our album cover. It was super cool.
And then we got to demolish it after we were done.
Yeah, we got to hit it with a sledgehammer. Nice. It was super rad.
Is the house still there? Is it standing? So,
yeah,
it's been renovated.
So
that's why we were allowed to do that in there, because it was being renovated.
So like Her Majesty fans can go on like pilgrimages.
Well, yeah, maybe don't go to Zora's grandma's house, because it's Zora's grandma's house now.
Don't go to Zora's grandma's house. So yeah, like, do you have any like future plans? I mean, I'm assuming you do. Like, that's always a dumb question. It's like, what are you doing in the future? It's like, yeah, what are you doing in the future though?
Well, one thing I can speak to right now is we are smack dab in the middle of re-recording what is going to be our self-titled record, our very first self-titled record, which is going to be a combination of, I think, 11 or 12 different songs from our first 2 albums.
Yeah.
We're re-recording them all with much better production quality, much better musicianship, much better just intent, energy, everything. Once we put that out, we're going to work on probably some new music. But that's the next big project right now.
Music.
Nice.
Definitely new music.
Yeah, I mean, so the reason that we're doing all this re-recording is that our first 2 albums are from when we were little baby teenagers. 16 at the youngest, 18 at the oldest. So it's like so many years ago, and we sound completely different than how we did back then. And it's like, listening back to those records, it's like solid demos, but we can do better now. So we're gonna do better now. And there will be some changes to like what's up on streaming platforms, but it won't be that you can't listen to our old music. It will all be on Bandcamp, and we will have CDs available of the original old albums. It just won't be on like Spotify and Apple Music anymore. we're leaving up all of the old singles as well. So there will be a record of what we used to sound like on streaming.
Nice.
But we just want to clean it up a little bit because, you know, it's like, it's hard to tell people that to go listen to your music and then be like, they're like, oh, I listened to your first album. And you're like embarrassed. That's not a good feeling.
I don't like your first album.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
It's very charming.
It is charming.
It
It is quite charming.
And
I sound like a child, but it is. I was a child.
yeah, and our top streamed track is actually off of that album, which
Yeah.
is Whiteout.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying its name, speaking it into existence.
Write out your past again to cover your
Exactly.
mistakes.
Almost 5
That
years ago.
one's gonna be on the new re-records as well. We're gonna redo Whiteout.
Are we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we did. We already did it.
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
track drums for it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Hooray.
Spoiler.
Spoiler.
Spoiler
Yeah.
alert.
We're not going to leak the
That's
track
one of the
list,
12.
but I will say that Ken knows Lady Void's on there.
It is canonically, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be on the WXJM database if you send it to the WXJM music director email too.
Once it's finished,
Got
we'll
this
send you the
done.
master.
I
We'll send you the masters for everything, Ken.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yippee!
I think there are already 1 or 2 Her Majesty songs on the database. I don't know where that came from.
I wonder,
Wait a minute.
could it be Zora?
I don't know.
Yeah. So, like, I've listened to a lot of your music, and I'm wondering, like, who your main influences are, because I noticed, like, you have, it's from everywhere, like, blues, like, punk, hardcore, some Dolly Parton.
All over the place. Yeah. So you want to go first?
Sure. Growing up, my father was at the time, metalhead.
Yeah.
Rock and heavy
He
rock and roll.
used air quotes there.
Well, like
was a metalhead.
Shout out to Kevin.
shout out to Kevin. Indeed, he's supported us in this journey for so many years.
If you're listening, Kevin, we love you.
We do. We really do. So anyway, he and my mom both influenced me a lot. They were both into rock music when they were in college and like the heavier side and more evil side
Yeah.
of like music and whatnot.
Ooh.
So yeah, exactly. When I was growing up, they never really cared what I listened to because they always listened to alternative stuff growing up too. So that kind of culminated into me just going super off the deep end into heavy metal, death metal, slam metal, any metal that I really could enjoy. I was listening to it. And that really didn't change until I met Felix. And then Felix introduced me to a couple other songs that, whether it be my feeling of just wanting to be in a band so
Green
bad.
Day was the big one.
Green Day was a
Green
big
Day
one
was
that
the big
turned
one,
me.
yeah.
I was accustomed to some Green Day songs, and then we forced me to learn one, and I was like, oh darn,
Yes,
this
yes,
is pretty sweet.
Yes. One of our first
course.
covers was When I Come Around.
Nice.
So my big like influences. I was like an emo kid.
Word, past sense.
Well, not am an emo adult now. But so My Chemical Romance is my favorite band of all time.
Real.
Closely followed by Green Day and actually Judas Priest, who I didn't start listening to until well after I met Sam. Shout out to Sam for getting me into heavy metal. It's pretty rad. And Zora. Zora honestly had a really big part into getting me into heavy metal.
The bad
as well.
metal, like Motley Crue.
Oh, like
and,
bad metal, like
Yeah.
like awful, terrible shit.
Yeah.
metal.
I just- Guns N' Roses.
Come get us, Motley Crue.
Yeah,
Yep.
calling you out, Motley
Calling
Crue.
you out, Motley
We're
Crue.
coming for you,
Fun
Motley
fact:
Crue.
our producer who did
Oh yeah.
our producer who did
State of
our-
the Union
no.
and Roses.
State of Union and Roses, has one of Nikki Sixx's basses on the wall of his studio.
Signed by Nikki
Signed.
Sixx, even. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I was gonna say something that I can't say on the.
Yeah.
It's like, where has that bass been?
Hopefully, just hanging on Scotty's wall
yeah.
for the past
Yeah.
decade or so.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. So.
But so where was I? I was talking about my influences. I'm just a big fan of punk rock.
Real.
Like it really got in there from a young age. Green Day and The Offspring really informed my playing style, and then from there, just like I just listened to like everything heavy. I don't know, like if it's heavy and it's got good guitars in it, I'm listening to it. I like a lot of classic rock. I like a lot of classic metal, and I like a lot of pop punk and a lot of punk rock. How about you, Zora?
I did not start with metal or punk rock at all, like my bandmates. I grew up on Mozart, Tchaikovsky, the Avett Brothers, U2, like old people music. Lots of Simon and Garfunkel too, which I still love to this day, and the Avett Brothers. I still love them. But that was kind of how I got my start.
I also love the Avett Brothers.
Yes, and we kind of bonded over that early. But then punk rock came later. I got into the White Stripes, was kind of my foray into rock and roll. And I love you, Meg White, and you made me want to start playing drums. Mm-hmm. And now I'm here. So I really owe it all to Meg White. But now I listen to a lot less punk rock than I used to. More, I don't know, folk. Experimental.
Gasp! Lightning crackle! Lightning crackle!
They keep me in check.
Yeah.
We
keep her in the heavy music.
But honestly, it's the combination of all of our music styles that really brings Her Majesty, the idea, together in the music, and all of our ideas combined into something just so sweet and magical. So,
yeah.
Why the name Her Majesty?
Oh, do you want me to tell the story?
Please.
Oh yes, I was hoping there was a story.
Okay, so it's not a very satisfying story. It's a bit roundabout.
Yeah.
But so when we were at the music lab, I initially joined a band called Sterling and the Disappointments.
That is a name.
It is certainly a name. And then Sterling, our front man, left the band, and I was like, this is a golden opportunity for me. And I was like, to the rest of the members, I was like, I'm the front man now.
Yeah.
And I was like, again, so like, I'm emo now. I was so unfathomably emo then.
Did you have a Tumblr?
I actually didn't have a Tumblr at that point in time. I know. Crazy. Weird and strange. I was mostly on like YouTube.
Did you like
and
Dan and
Instagram? Phil? Oh my God, don't talk to me about Dan and Phil, Ken. Don't talk to me about Dan and Phil. Not on the radio. Not live on the radio. But so I really wanted the band name for this band that I scrounged the broken pieces of Sterling and the Disappointments to be Her Majesty's End.
Yeah.
Super like edgy,
So edgy,
and I had like I drew like a snake logo. And they were all like, no. Because they were a bunch of indie kids. So they were like really, and they were all older than me. They'd all had like cringe emo pasts. So they really didn't want to be emo anymore. I was still in it. None of them wanted to. So we compromised, and I changed it. I just whittled it down to Her Majesty, and they were like, yeah, that's fine. Reminds me of Queen. And I was like, great. Yeah, Queen reference. Cool. And then they all quit on me.
Wow.
And so I had to find bandmates, and that was when I found Sam in the practice room and our old drummer. And I had booked shows under the name Her Majesty, so it just stuck. And now it's kind of taken on a life of its own, and we have all this merch and this cool logo, and have been playing under this name and releasing music under this name for the past 5 years. And it's just like so integral to who we are. And it came from just like a nothing little like placeholder name. So
Yippee.
I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It is.
I, for one, think the story is very nice.
Yeah, it comes from being emo and compromising.
Like my Saturday nights.
Yeah.
So like, do you, speaking of like experimental and emo, do any of you have like any other projects that you're working on outside of Her Majesty? I know
Zora
you
does.
are, Zora. I know you.
I have a half-baked solo album written. Sam helped me record one song for it that is really, really good and probably the best thing I've made outside
It's
of Her
incredible.
Majesty.
It's
called
so good.
Esau. It's up on Bandcamp. My artist name is Potholes! ! But hopefully there is more coming. It's going to be a little all over the place. Some of it's going to be produced by Sam. Some of it's going to be home recorded. But yeah, that's pretty much it outside.
Yeah, I mean, Sam and I really don't have any other projects. We're very like
You're locked in.
we're like band monogamous.
I see. Not band poly.
Zora's band poly.
Wow.
I used to.
Yeah, Sam was in some other bands, very briefly.
Yeah.
He was a one-time member of Orange Culture.
Oh.
What a
Rest in peace, Orange
rest in
Culture.
peace, Orange Culture. One of the greatest bands to come out of the Roanoke scene. Sad to see them dead.
Yeah.
They're not dead. They broke up.
Hey, you have a little bit of solo music. I helped you record it.
I have a little bit of solo music, but it's not released because it was a project that I did in high school and didn't finish. Oops.
Yeah, but it
That
was,
makes
it was
it like way
awesome.
cooler.
Yeah, the songs are pretty good though. I might resurrect some and like bring them into Her Majesty. I don't know.
Nice.
How did you get into playing your individual instruments?
So for me, when I was in fourth grade.
Were you emo in fourth grade?
I was not yet emo in fourth grade. I really wanted to. Actually, this was between the summer of 4th and 5th grade. I really wanted to impress my 4th grade teacher at the talent show. So I started taking guitar lessons. This was 10 years ago. And I started getting really like as good as I could for being a child and not knowing very many chords over the summer. And I played Amazing Grace and Clementine at the talent show because I was taking lessons from a like folk guitar teacher. And then from there I started branching out and taking other lessons, and now I've been playing for 10 years. And my biggest influence in electric guitar by far, my 3 biggest influences are Frank Iero from My Chemical Romance,
Real.
Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath, and Billie Joe Armstrong from Green Day. So, Sam,
Nice.
how did you get into drums? And
Well,
bass?
when I was 10 years old, good old Santa Claus came down the chimney and surprised me with a little 5-piece drum set, just a starter kit. Not the one that's sitting right in front of us, I promise. Not that one. That set is not a decade old, I promise. It's older. But anyway, so I was 10 years old at the time, and I wasn't super into it at the start. I was like excited. I was like, oh, it's brand new, it's big, it's loud, and I was 10, so like what 10-year-old doesn't want to like bash the crap out of things. So I got in that and slowly picked it up, and once I realized that I started developing a music taste for my own, that I could actually play some of the songs that I was into on the drums, and that's when I kind of started taking off. And I've been entirely self-taught on the drums, and I've been in the jazz band in middle school, high school, and college for a total, I think, of almost about 9 years.
I didn't know you were so self-taught. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
I do, yeah. All I do is play drums.
You're one of the people I respect the most in the world, and my respect for you just doubled.
Thanks,
That's
man.
crazy.
Yeah. A lot of my training is more kind of jazz and stage band oriented on the drums, but also shaped by when I would get home, I would just only play metal. So it was, I got the dichotomy of those two and got the benefits from everything. So
It must have been nice already having metalhead parents, and so you weren't like disturbing them.
exactly. I mean, there's definitely times where we have been disturbing them. But they could never really say anything just because they were the ones who got me the drum set. They were the ones who, who allowed me to listen to the music that I did and allowed me to join a band. So, but they're great, and they never once have ever kind of gotten on me about noise or anything like that. So,
We practice in their basement. Like,
we do.
It's still our practice space. Shout out Kevin and Amy.
Yippee! Hi, Mom and Dad.
I kind of started like really, really young. Like my parents had me taking piano lessons at like age 5. I started taking fiddle at age 5. And then when I became an angsty teenager, I wanted to do something different than what my parents were making me do, which is good. I'm so glad they made me take and learn those instruments. I started learning guitar, and that quickly ballooned into learning drums as well. I started learning guitar and drums in like the span of 3 months. And I got a loaner kit from someone who moved out of town and started annoying the crap out of my parents, getting good at drums. It was really bad at first. And I kind of, I wanted to record my own music, and then I found these guys, and I had a reason to get really good at drums. So that's kind of my start. And if I'm going to say influences like you did, Meg White, big influence.
Real.
Daru Jones, who is a drummer for Jack White, really like visionary drummer. I think those are probably my top 2.
Wow, so 2 for 2 with the Jack White involvement.
Yes.
Yeah. Sam, what's your influences, buddy?
I tend to take more influence from bands and albums versus similar or just like singular artists.
If you had to pick one drummer.
One drummer, that's really hard.
And one bassist.
All right. For bassists, my favorite bass influence is a French bass player named Frédéric Leclerc.
That is a really French name.
Yes, he is. He was the bass player in the power metal band Dragon Force for a while.
Dragon Force mentioned.
Yes, absolutely, live on the radio. I think he played guitar bass in another black metal band called Sensanium, and right now he's a full-time member of the German death metal band Creator. He's my favorite bass player. Drummer, that's a different story. I don't know. There's been so many drummers that I've listened to my entire life that are so. I mean, even like Zora, I've drawn influence from Zora, like listening to her play parts that I couldn't even dream of. So, but if I had to choose one, Dave Lombardo from Slayer.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right.
If you had to assemble a dream band with 2 guitarists, 1 drummer, a bassist, and a singer, who would be in this dream band?
Are we each answering individually?
Oh God.
You want to?
I don't know if I know enough.
I think we should collectively. I think we should collectively assemble a band.
Okay, let's collectively assemble a band.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Who's our drummer?
No Freddie Mercury.
No Freddie Mercury.
What?
Damn it. Okay.
All right.
No Freddie Mercury. Haley Williams on vocals.
Oh, that's an easy pick.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flea on bass.
Flea on
Flea
bass.
on
Yeah, that's
bass.
good. That's good. This is already crazy.
Yeah, this is insane.
I'd say like probably Frank Iero.
Frank
On the-
Iero
on-
on one of the guitars.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I pick the other guitars?
Yeah.
Yeah, do
Okay, Tony Iommi and Frank Iero, 2 Frank
Okay.
Anthonys.
Yeah.
it. Insane.
I feel like they would play well together.
Yes.
All right, what about drummer?
Drummer. Lars Ulrich.
No, wrong.
Lars, stop.
I mean,
Yes, I am making fun of Lars Ulrich live on air.
We're coming after you too, Metallica.
Yeah.
Monty Crew and Metallica.
you're not safe,
You're
Metallica.
not safe. God. A drummer
This is
for our
tough.
super group.
I'm trying to.
Zora.
yeah. Zora Delaney.
Zora Delaney.
That's my choice.
No.
what about Joey Jordison?
Can I pull? Or I was gonna suggest John Bonham.
Okay,
Hey.
Bonham.
Okay,
Bonham's
yeah,
pretty
sure.
well rounded. He might be able to
No,
make
hey,
some-
you know what? Karen Carpenter.
Karen Carpenter.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's good.
You know what?
Yeah.
I respect
So
that.
we got Haley Williams, Flea.
Yeah. Is Flea clothed?
No.
No,
Okay.
never.
He's naked.
Yeah.
Frank Iero and Tony Iommi.
Which Frank Iero?
Which Frank Iero? Revenge. With the swoop.
Yep.
Yeah. And early 70s Tony Iommi with the big hair.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
Now the big question: what would you name the band?
What would we name the band?
Oh man, this would be a great time for me to pull out my.
This would be oh my
Bumhucker.
god. Bumhucker.
Oh yeah, honestly, that's a good
Bumhucker.
one. Yeah.
It's just humbucker with the letters switched.
I like Bumhucker.
Bumhucker?
Yeah.
I don't feel like Haley Williams would front a band called Bumhucker.
Well,
I'm going to
she-
be so real.
Well, she is in our fictional universe.
Okay, that's fair.
She's gonna have to deal with it. We're not coming after Paramore.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we love
you,
Paramore. That's why we
Paramore.
picked her.
Yeah.
Yippee!
All right.
Well, thank you for coming in, Her Majesty. Thank you all for coming in. It was awesome having you and playing with you and like having you in the studio. And
Happy to be here.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you so much, Ken.
yes, you are welcome anytime. I mean, you should be. It's above my pay grade, but you should be welcome of anytime.
Excellent.
Yes,
I'm glad.
Well, WXJM Harrisonburg, 88.7 FM. Later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye, Harrisonburg.